Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our webinar entitled Cisco 360 CCIE Voice and Collaboration, the Evolution. My name is Paul Wakefield, and I head up the marketing for NetCertExpert, and I will be your host this evening. Before we go any further, I would just like to make sure that everybody can hear us. Could you please just type yes in the chat box so we can ensure that you can hear us? And here they come. Thank you so much. This evening, we will be discussing the Cisco 360 CCIE program, the changes coming up relating to voice and collaboration, and how best to prepare. We have special guest speakers with us tonight, namely from Cisco, Andy Gremmett, who is the Senior Manager for Product Marketing. Also from Cisco, we have Mary Ng, Senior Product Manager, Collaboration and Video. And in addition, we have Valerie Watson, who is the Program Manager at Cisco Customer Loyalty. From NetCertExpert, we have Phil Morgan, who is our lead instructor for Cisco Voice products and an active 360 CCIE Voice instructor. In fact, Phil was the first instructor in the world to be certified to teach the CCIE 360 Voice program, and we're delighted to have him with us on our team. Before I hand you over to Phil, I want to let you know that we will have a Q&A session at the conclusion of the presentation. So please feel free to ask any questions you have either in the chat or in the Q&A box. And I will collate them and we will address them at the end. So if everyone's ready, I would like to hand you over to Phil Morgan.
Hi guys, I'm not sure you can hear me. Can you pass the ball to me, please, guys? I need to be presenter. Hello, everybody, by the way. Hope you're having a good evening, or afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in the world. Awesome. Right, I got the ball. Thanks, team. Thank you, Paul, for that awesome introduction. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, guys and ladies and gentlemen, of course, here will be our agenda for the evening. We're going to talk about the changing environment. We're going to talk about our collaboration program, specifically our 360 collaboration program. We're going to talk about CCIE Voice and the change and the evolution to CCIE Collaboration. Going to get a little plug-in for my blog and study site, the $1,500 Lunch. We're going to talk about written and lab combinations and how we move forward to get the CCIE Collaboration. We're going to answer questions along the lines of, what if I already have my CCIE Voice or I'm nearly there? What happens to me? We're going to talk about options for paying for the training for the CCIE Collaboration. We're also going to talk about loyalty points, something new that's come out from Cisco. We're going to talk about some important calendar dates you need to have in your diaries. And then we're going to talk about NetCertExpert's candidate mentoring program. Well, we're very fortunate to have some people from Cisco with us tonight. So I'd like to hand you over straight away to Andy Gremmett and Mary Ng, who are going to talk a little bit more about the changing program. Andy and Mary, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Phil. As Phil mentioned, my name is Andy Gremmett, and I have Mary Ng with me here. And what we wanted to do was kind of set the stage in terms of what Cisco sees as changing, what the current environment is around collaboration, for two reasons. A, to kind of level set for everybody on the call. But the other reason is to give you some ammunition to take back, whether you're trying to get reimbursed for training or certification that you're working on, or to help give you ammunition to set the stage at your own company that what you're working on. So with that, we're just going to cover this a couple of key points here. So the first one really is describing Cisco's vision for collaboration. And for us, it's really simple. It's about people working together. And you'll notice tonight today we'll talk about what used to be called by some folks CCIE Voice. We're talking about CCIE Collaboration. And that's a good reflection on Cisco's vision of how we want people to work together. It's bringing people together to collaborate. And, the other half of that vision is really creating environments where people can be successful working together to get to those extraordinary results. Couple of points that support both of these are kind of shaping the future, right? What does Cisco really believe in terms of the future for collaboration and working together? One thing that we continue to see grow is that collaboration tools are being chosen by the users, not by the IT departments. So that creates situations that a lot of folks have not had to deal with in the past. Social networks are pretty much an integral fabric of what we work on today in the business world and socially. And those, again, are a proof point for collaboration. People working together to solve problems, sometimes to share photos of their kids, or whatever it would be, but it's working and coming together. Related to that are digital communities. So most of us participate in one, if not many, digital communities, either trying to help customers, trying to help people within our own companies, and again, coming together socially. And the final point was, we kind of referred to it as ubiquitous collaboration capabilities, but it's the being able to work together with people anywhere, anytime. And part of our job as networking professionals and collaboration professionals is to provide that environment, right? Getting back to that orange box, creating an environment where people can be successful and not limiting the people that we have to support or the people within our organizations. Went too far, sorry about that. So kind of to set the stage, the market's changing, right? Most companies today are looking for ways to improve collaboration. It's kind of the one area yet that hasn't been fully mined for people working together better to increase profits and make people more productive. And there's two main ways that the market is changing. The first one is it's really fast. It's accelerating. The market is changing faster, and disruption is in many, many places today. Whether we're talking about the cloud, which has surpassed most people's expectation of disruption and the speed with which that has moved, as well as bring your own device. So I mentioned in my previous slide, users being able to choose what device they want to work on. We're seeing that much more prevalent across enterprises that we work with. BYOD is not going away. It's here to stay, and it's going to continue to expand. So as part of organizations that provide and support those devices, allowing people to collaborate is the key piece. How can they do that in a way that's productive for them as opposed to a traditional heavy-handed approach? The second piece about the market is buyers are changing. Okay, just like we mentioned that users are bringing their own device, in the old days we would see buyers be a very structured procurement, IT procurement, and this very process-driven way to get new equipment in. What we're seeing now is more business unit leaders, more department leaders, or even some grassroots efforts to say, here are the tools that we need to get the job done, whether it's an application or it's a piece of hardware. And that's a change, right? That's a different way for us to talk to those people. It's a different conversation that we have, and it's a wholly different vocabulary because we're focusing on productivity of helping people work together. So those kind of, I cheated and said two, it's actually three, but it's that speed of acceleration, and it's that change in buyers that really causes us to look at what we're trying to do within the network, within collaboration, in a much different way. So we wouldn't necessarily be Cisco if we didn't address that, right? We're a market leader, and we need to behave as such. And part of that is to draw upon the programs that we have that can help you. And one of the programs that leads the way with this is CCIE. So I'm assuming that just about everybody on this call is familiar with CCIE and knows what value it brings. Some great proof points here in terms of the fact that it's been a certification for 20 years, the fact that CCIE Voice, which is what we're talking about here today in terms of collaboration, has its 10th anniversary. And that's a big thing. That's a big proof point to say how relevant the technology that we're talking about and the continued education is to helping you do your job. And that's just not people signed up day one, got their certification, and stopped. These are people who continue to recertify and continue to use those skills. The third point, I think, is a big one for us, and we get people have a couple different opinions. Why is hands-on lab. So while it does take a little more study time and it takes a little more focus, the benefit here is that employers and people who know about the program value this part of the program, because people who have completed their CCIE have a firm grasp and are known for having a firm grasp on the technology that they sell or support. And that's a huge differentiator for us. And then in terms of job roles, right? The programs and certifications that we have focus on job roles. And this is very important because we want for the people who take these certifications to be successful in their role. It's not just about what they're taught, it's about what they learn. And that's a critical point when you're evaluating programs. So a couple lead job roles here: collaboration solutions designer, lead video network engineer, and lead voice network engineer. You'll notice the addition of video, which coming together with collaboration here, again, stresses that collaboration focus. So we have a number of CCIE certifications, as you probably are aware. The one we're going to talk about today is CCIE Collaboration. And this one is relatively new. The exams start becoming available here in November, and the lab exam will be available in February. And that's why we're here, right? We're here today to talk about how you can get ready to take that lab exam, to get ready to continue that next step in your certification process. So, but I think it's important to understand the CCIE Collaboration is one of a family of other CCIE certifications that we have. So this is not a one-off. It's not things that we're relatively new in. Most of you are familiar with CCIE routing and switching, since it's been around a while. But there are a number of other CCIE programs that are available to you as you work and continue to grow in your skills in those particular areas. So let's talk about the specifics. CCIE Collaboration. So 2 exams, right? Written and an 8-hour lab exam. Once you have completed successfully your written exam, you can move on to take your lab exam. This is an expert level certification, so with that we expect a certain degree of expert knowledge in both products and best practices coming in to take the test. We talked briefly about some of the job roles. This is a more broad scope in terms of collab and unified communications architects and voice and video network engineers. The heart of the program really tests your skills for design, implementation, and troubleshooting complex collaboration solutions. So those are the 3 areas when you're studying, when you're looking at programs, when you're trying to prepare yourself. Think through, okay, here's a specific feature, or here's something that I want to do. How am I going to design it? What's the best way to implement it? Right? And then how the heck am I going to troubleshoot it, not only if you don't get it right the first time out of the gate, but when there's problems. And I think having that 3-prong approach to creating changes in your network is a great way to look at it even after you finish the course, because sometimes it's very difficult to think through how a change in a specific network is going to how that change is going to affect the rest of the network. And if you always approach it from those 3 areas, how's it going to affect my design, where will I implement it, and how, and then how you're going to go about it and troubleshooting it is a great way to approach the problem. And then in terms of understanding, I think the last bullet, or the last point of the last bullet, really stresses what I talked about before. So it's about increasing that productivity, making sure the user has, I would say, a fantastic experience, right, in terms of collaborating and using the tools. And the last one shouldn't really be left out, but this is an adaptable solution. We talked about how fast some things are moving in terms of technology, and an adaptable solution, an adaptable design can help you deal with new technologies as they come on board. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mary.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and I am very, very excited to be here with Andy and the NetCertExpert Learning Partners. My name is Mary Ng. I've been on this 360 Learning Training Program from the very beginning. I'm excited. We're actually taking things that we've learned over the last 3 years and churning it to create the next instance for CCIE Collaboration. What I wanted to do briefly was just to cover what's on the wheel. I call this the wheel. Why is it called a 360 program? It's not that we cover every topic in depth. It's because we provide feedback, 360-degree feedback for every student. You'll notice there are 6 components in the surrounding the learning management system and mentoring tools. Those 6 components are specific training products that you can purchase a la carte, use a la carte. And for some people, you may only need to purchase a few of the components. For others, the high value of an instructor leading you through and mentoring you through that service is very important to your success. This is the only Cisco Authorized Expert Training Program for CCIE Collaboration and Voice. There are about a dozen various CCIEs that put their brain energy into the score reports, the training products itself. This is a product that's not built by educators. It is built by practitioners. It is built by CCIEs and in many cases double and triple CCIEs. They started off as a CCIE route switch. They became a CCIE Voice. And they're passionate about getting more CCIE Voice and Collaboration certified individuals out there. I wanted to just lead you through why we configured a wheel to represent the different objects. At the core is a learning management system that tracks you over 18 months. The standard subscription is for 18 months, and it will it flexes with you so that if you have a project at work, if you have a reason to stop training and stop preparing for some reason, we know it's a persistent record. We know what skill level you're at. Those online mentoring tools are 8,000 bits of content. That's 8,000 bits of content that serve up, depending upon how you respond to the different quizzes, to the different graded assessments, etc. So at the core is a persistent record of how you performed on the various components. I want to start with the pre-assessment up and to the left. The pre-assessment lab pretty much starts at the CCNP voice level, and it just makes sure if you score 80% on that pre-assessment lab or higher, it's an 8-hour lab. It mimics the live lab exam. If you score 80% or higher, then you're pretty far advanced. So there are many components of this program that you probably do not need to use. We designed this 360 program to say, we don't want to waste your time. If you already know material, why bother with it? So that is a key pivotal entry point with the pre-assessment lab, and Phil Morgan, one of our esteemed instructors, can go more into that. Down below, the instructor-led workshop is our premier product, 5-day instructional content with instructors like Phil Morgan, who's been CCIE Voices for many, many years, who's taught many, many CCIE Voices. So like our standard Authorized Cisco program training, we really believe in the strength of that. But we know that some people may not be able to take time away from their work, their personal lives. So there are other online asynchronous types of training products, such as a library for you to reference. Lessons. These are self-paced lessons on the upper quadrant and to the right. These are also part of the content that many CCIEs have worked on to help guide you through building up the skills to perform as a CCIE Collaboration/Voice. Practice Lab. In the Practice Lab workbook, up in the top in the center, currently are roughly 25 labs ranging from 4 hours to full 8 hours. In the new CCIE Collaboration, we've reduced it and concentrated it. We've learned a lot. So we ourselves have become more efficient about creating training that's effective and efficient and has very little fat on it. So we're really proud of the fact that the new version 2 for CCIE Collaboration is actually even more streamlined and more tailored to helping you in your areas that you need to improve. We all know Contact Center Express is in the assessment. That's an application that many people don't typically encounter in a given month. So in that particular instance, we have dedicated products that help walk you through Contact Center Express if you have very little experience. For someone who has a lot of experience with it, such as a person working in a channel partner, one of our many value-added resellers, they may encounter Contact Center Express all the time. So the Contact Center Express practice labs for that person may not have a lot of value. They're going to skip it. So we really wanted to build a product that was adaptable to wherever you are and flex with you. The assessments, of course, this is the crown jewel, the performance assessments on the left, lower hemisphere. These are full 8-hour exams on Cisco gear that assess exactly where you are, and I'm going to defer to Phil to speak more to that. Finally, it is the mentoring itself. So we have some online, what we call the online mentoring that serves up content based on how you've responded to the graded assessments. We also work with very valuable learning partners like NetCertExpert to provide live mentors. And with that, I'm going to turn you over to one of our esteemed live mentors, Phil Morgan.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Mary. Okay. Guys, can you pass the ball back to me, please? Okay, guys. So let's go on and talk about our 360 CCIE Collaboration program. Now, I personally have been CCIE Voice since 2006. I've been training CCIEs for a long time, and I've got to say, I really like this program. Okay, it does what is needed, and it goes beyond what is needed to help you prepare for the CCIE Collaboration and, of course, CCIE Voice. Thanks, guys. NetCertExpert has a mission. We want to provide the best quality training at the best possible price. Okay, we selected to partner with Cisco and become a learning partner for the 360 because we believe in it. We believe that this is the system that will help you achieve your CCIE status. Now, I gotta be honest with you though, this is not a free ride. Okay, you don't just turn up to class one day and magically you get the cert. You have to do the work. I've said this multiple times, and you'll hear me say this in classes an awful lot. It is the journey that makes you a CCIE, not the end certification. Okay, and what 360 does is different for any other program that's out there. It doesn't just prepare you for the lab. It makes you an awesome engineer. It covers what you need to do as an engineer in the real world to become a collaboration expert. And I don't apologize for using the word expert there, because we're all working towards the CCIE, Cisco Certified Internet Working Expert. And that's what you have to be. And you have to be able to make sure that the rubber meets the road and that you can get out and do this. And this program really prepares you for that. What's good about it? Why is it good? What is good about it? First of all, it's Cisco Authorized. Okay? Now, we're a Cisco learning partner, and we have to meet prerequisites from Cisco, and I've got to be honest, they're not easy to meet. Okay? Cisco mandates that we do certain things, and they guarantee that there is going to be a level of quality in the program. Okay? That leads us to quality assurance. Quality assurance. Quality assurance is guaranteed. It's a Cisco program. Okay? We've got proven ability to teach it because we're a learning partner authorized by Cisco. And Cisco's put a lot of effort into the program to make sure that it works. It's also consistent. It's a consistent program message. Mary's hinted at these, what she told us all about them in great detail. The workshops, the classes, the manuals, the videos, the online documents. They all come together with a consistent message preparing you for the lab exam. It's state-of-the-art training. The one thing that I really feel differentiates the program from anything else out there, well, two things actually, I've got to correct myself, is the mentoring and the assessments. When you go and do a CCIE lab, you get there, there's stress, there's pressure. You are being tested and you are being measured. Okay? The first time you are tested or measured really shouldn't be when you walk into that lab and you do the test. This is what these assessed, graded labs do for us. They remove some of the pressure of taking the assessment of you, the measurement of you away. You're like, hey, done this a few times now. Yeah, that's going to make it a little bit easier. Don't get me wrong. It just takes away some of the pressure to make the journey a little bit more enjoyable. And I think that's awesome because you get a graded result back that says, this is what we think you scored. Okay? And in my experience, completely unofficially, in my experience, people that score really highly on these tests, they pass. Okay? Now, I can't say that that's a fact or a guarantee. It's just in my experience, people that scored highly on the graded assessment, you know what? They have CCIE numbers now. We've emphasized the multiple methods of reinforcing the learning. It's not just class workbook. There's other things built around it. The mentoring is key to this. Mentoring is very important. Where do you turn when you're stuck there and you have a problem and you don't know what to do? Mentoring is the key solution to that. There's community pages, support pages. Okay? You can go on Cisco's community pages and just vent if you want to. Cisco are more than welcome to let you do that. Or you can go on and you can ask questions and get help from your peers and the support environment. Let's talk a little bit about the CCIE Voice and the evolution to the CCIE Collaboration. Cisco announced this a while back, saying that it's changing. It's not changing by 80% or 90%. If I have to put a figure on it, I'd say maybe 15, 20%. You still have to do all the old things. You've got to make the phones work. You've got to get them working with the switch and the router. And you've got to get gateways. And you've got to have PRI interfaces and all these things. So it is an evolution, not a change. We are moving from a voice-centric world to one where collaboration is key. And we have to keep aware and be on top of this. With change, of course, comes rebranding. The name is evolving as well, from CCIE Voice to CCIE Collaboration. We at NetCertExpert believe this will raise the value of the qualification and keep the holders of this elite program worthy of the privileged status that this official certification brings. So what is the goal of collaboration? Well, Cisco says the certification is to help prepare the candidate to deploy collaboration. Sorry, I can't even say that. Let me try that again. Deploy collaboration systems and services that increase user productivity, improve the experience for customers, and are adaptable and provide a seamless user experience. Who is this aimed at? Who is going to be the target of the CCIE Collaboration? Collaboration architects, unified communication architects, voice and video network managers, consultants, engineers working with voice and video if they design, implement, and troubleshoot complex collaboration solutions. It's an expert-level certification that ensures that you gain knowledge and experience in collaboration solutions, integration, interoperation, configuration, and troubleshooting in complex networks and the challenges of video, mobility, and presence as the foundation for workplace collaboration solutions. So do you need to be an expert when you start the CCIE 360 program? No, but it's going to help if you have as much experience as possible. If you don't have any experience, we can advise you on how to get experience. Okay? So a complete beginner isn't really someone that wants to rush into the CCIE. If you've been working with the product for a number of years, 3 to 5 years, never start a class, you have the knowledge that can move you forward to become a CCIE. Okay? So if you've attended certification classes or other Cisco classes, or you have the experience, you are the person that can move forward and become a CCIE. First of all, you've got to pass a written qualification exam before you can apply to do the lab. Okay? So if you want to become a CCIE, you have to do a written exam, then you have to go and sit an 8-hour mentored lab, and that will make you a CCIE. A little plug here that our marketing team put in. I've set up a blog, study guide that I've started, and I called it the $1,500 lunch. That's kind of what the price you pay to go and sit a lab. And you know what? If you go there and you don't pass, that's what you get, a $1,500 lunch, because lunch is free when you go and do the lab. So a little plug there for our system. Come along, sign up on the system. we're going to be evolving the system over the next few months and making it a place where like-minded engineers can come, swap ideas, ask questions, make comments, and so on and so forth. Well, what can you expect from the exams? The CCIE Collaboration exams are proctored exams. They encompass the knowledge gains from personal study, from training classes, and from study material that are available. As we mentioned, there's a written component, about 2 hours in duration. And then you do an 8-hour lab practical. Okay? There is a time limit here where you've got to take this within 18 months of the written exam. Okay? But if you do take an exam, a lab exam, and you don't succeed, you don't pass, that kind of resets the clock a little bit for you, gives you a little bit of breathing time. I've got to say here that in my experience, I've spoken to a lot of people on this issue, and in the industry and the U.S. government would regard somebody with a CCIE certification as an equivalent knowledge level to somebody with a PhD. Okay? This should give you an idea of the status that this certification gives you and brings. Let's just talk for a few moments about the written exam. What's changing with the collaboration change? Well, gone are some aspects of what used to be in the old ways of doing things, and coming in are things more applicable to the collaboration world that we are moving into today. Cisco Jabber, for example, ILS, URI dialing, IP version 6, MediaNet, SAP CCD, and of course, virtualization in UC solutions. The whole world is going virtual. We don't run servers. We don't run servers on servers, if that makes sense anymore. We don't run software servers on hardware servers. We run them on some kind of hypervisor that runs on usually a high-powered, large RAM, large disk space server. Excuse me. Well, also the lab exam itself are changing. An example, I don't want to go through every single detail here. This information is on our website and on Cisco's website. What we're talking about is good old-fashioned H323 RAS, Gatekeeper. Now, all of you that are got your hands in the air saying, yes, thankfully Gatekeeper is gone, don't worry, guys. We've got some really fun things to replace Gatekeepers with. Okay? ILS, URI dialing, SAF, and CCD to name but a few. So don't think it's going to get easier because Gatekeepers are gone. But again, the 360 program covers this for you and helps prepare you for this. One of the major changes happening in the exam is the equipment. And Cisco are quite open. They tell you what versions of software and what equipment will be tested in the exam. You can see here some of the equipment is changing. We're knocking up a notch to the latest technology from Cisco. Okay. iOS 15, 3750X switches, Cisco video phones, the latest ISR2 routers, PVDM3s, and so on. Okay? So gone are the older hardware and in with the new. What are the written and the lab combinations that we have to work with? Well, you can see here, you can do the CCIE Voice written exam and then go into a CCIE Voice lab exam or a collaboration exam. You can do a CCIE Collaboration written exam and do a CCIE Voice or a CCIE Collaboration lab exam. What's important is the lab exam you sit. Now, time is running out. Okay? I'll show you some dates in a few slides that you need to be aware of. November, the CCIE written exam for Voice is retiring and Collaboration is coming up. February, CCIE Voice Lab Day is retiring and Collaboration is coming. Okay? So you need to plan accordingly for what you want to do. Now, if you have any questions with anything we raise in tonight, feel free to ask the question and we'll address as many as we can. If we run out of time or if we want more questions, feel free to contact myself or any of our team at NetCertExpert. Okay, we're talking about people who want to start preparing for the CCIE Voice, CCIE Collaboration. What if you have CCIE Voice or you think you're nearly there to get the CCIE Voice and you're going to get it maybe in the next few months? What's going to happen to you when the collaboration rolls out? But the key thing to understand is Cisco has thought that. They've got your back covered. Okay? If you need to recertify for any CCIE certification, you have to pass a CCIE written exam every 24 months. any CCIE written exam. For example, last time I was feeling a bit brave, and I went and did the wireless CCIE written exam. Okay? That recertified my CCIE voice and routing switching. And you could, of course, pass an actual lab. You could go and sit data center, for example, and that will recertify you as well. Or you can do the Cisco CCIE design or the Cisco architect exams. Good news here is, whenever you recertify one of your CCIE level exams, you also get automatic recertification of any of the other certifications you may have, CCNP, CCNA, and so on and so forth. There are a few rules. You can only apply one past written exam towards recertification in every 24-month period. And also, if you do a written exam and you don't get it, you don't succeed at it, you have to wait 5 calendar days before you attempt at the written exam again. Okay, what about the migration from CCIE Voice? So you're a CCIE Voice. What's going to happen to you? You might be sitting there thinking, hey, what's going to happen to me? Well, as of June the 5th, 2013, Cisco announced that there is a program in place. So you will be able to sit the CCIE Collaboration, a written exam, and upgrade your CCIE Voice from a CCIE Voice to a CCIE Collaboration. Of course, if you're feeling really brave, you could always go along and attempt the CCIE Collaboration again, and then you'd officially be a double CCIE. That could be good. I will leave that to you. You may want to check with your wives and family, of course, whether you want to go through that again, but it is an option. Okay? If you want to keep your CCIE Voice and get Collaboration, there is an option to do that by actually going to sit the Collaboration exam. Okay, well, so we've talked about the program, we've talked about the CCIE, and we've talked about the 360 program. If you want to sign up for it, what options do you have to pay for it? Well, there's good old-fashioned cash, checks, and credit cards. Now, if you are a Cisco SE and you want to come along and do some training with us, or if you have customers who want to come along and do training with us, you can pass them over to us and get them to call us, and we can talk to them about this. If you are a Cisco SE, you can approach us, and we can simply send a PO to Cisco, and you can come and attend the training. I also want to talk to you about Cisco Learning Credits. Not a lot of people know a lot about these. And quite often, Cisco Learning Credits can just sit in a vault unused. Kind of like Harry Potter and Hogwarts. They're just sitting there getting old. Well, CLCs are a great way to spread a corporate budget over a year. Your accounting department doesn't have to find lump sums for training throughout the year. The budget can be assigned at the beginning of the year and apportioned out as needed. You can buy Cisco Learning Credits from a Cisco partner or from Cisco, and you can have these learning credits that can be applied to training through official Cisco learning partners. Quite often, when Cisco partners sell a product to their customers, quite often they include CLCs as an incentive to buy from them. Number one thing to do is to go and find out immediately, do you have CLCs? Because they do have an expiration. Okay? What's the good thing about CLCs? Well, the only thing you must understand about CLCs is they must not expire before the first day of class. If you have some coming up expiring soon, talk to us. We'll see if we can help you. Okay? What I found in my experience is getting your boss to part with money can be quite difficult. But if you say to them, hey, boss, I want to do some training. It's going to benefit me. It's going to benefit the companies. We have these CLCs. It's going to be free, effectively, because you haven't got to part with money to send me on this training. Okay? Obviously, you've got to pay hotel costs, flight costs, and so on and so forth. But the large portion of the money from the payment of the class can be done by CLC. We've had quite a few students who come to us who said, you know what, CLCs are awesome. Before this, it's just very difficult to get some training. But now I go to my boss and say, I want to do this training. It'll benefit us. Can I go do it? The answer actually has been yes. Okay? Especially if CLCs are expiring. Managers, bosses hate to lose money. Even if it's conceptual money, they hate to lose it. So if you go to them and say, hey, boss, we've got these CLCs expiring in the next 3 months. I want to spend them on training. Can I do that? Usually the answer comes back quite often is yes. Okay? So find out if your company has CLCs. Okay? Your comptroller usually is quite happy to free these up and spend them to get rid of them because they hate to see these things expire. And again, if you're a Cisco partner, or if you are an SE, or if you are a reseller with Cisco, your customers may have CLCs as well that may expire. Talk to them, send them our way, and we can help them out, of course. Now I want to talk about, I want to introduce somebody who's going to talk about something just slightly different. Okay? I want to talk about a newer program that's come from Cisco. And I want to introduce Valerie. Valerie's going to come and tell you about Cisco's loyalty program. Valerie, over to you.
Thank you, Phil. I'll just wait for the slide to move forward here. Let's see if I have the ball. Okay, great. Well, thank you, Phil. I really appreciate this opportunity and chance to be able to talk to our community about our latest program and for helping our community pay for learning. And that's with our newest program. It is called the Cisco Customer Loyalty Program. This program rewards our customers with loyalty points that are accumulating based on their quarterly purchases of Cisco products and services. The key point here is that these loyalty points can be converted into learning credits, and those learning credits, just like Phil explained, can be used to pay for Cisco 360 CCIE Collaboration training. In addition, oh, that's not so good. In addition, the loyalty points can be used for a number of other rewards, such as other training, other exams, labs, research on your exams and labs, as well as for Cisco Live events. So this is a key way that you can build up additional loyalty points that can be converted into learning credits that can be used to fund your learning at your site. If you are interested in this program, we encourage you to go out to our cisco.com website, which is at cisco.com/go/customer loyalty, and then just go to the join banner. You'll be asked to fill out a customer nomination form. We'll take that information and get started on enrolling your company in the Cisco Customer Loyalty Program, which we can then start accruing and accumulating, loyalty points so that you can use them for training. There are some other resources here as well. You can look and see what our tool looks like for the presentation and tool demo. We have internal resources if you're a Cisco account team listening in. And in addition, you can always contact us at our support. And with that, I'll pass the ball back to Phil.
That's awesome. Thanks, Valerie. And I'll repeat now what I said to Valerie when she told us about this program. I said, what, really? For buying Cisco products, you can accumulate points? And the answer is yes. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this program. I think it's awesome, okay? I think it's wonderful. You get people out there, large customers, large corporations, buy so much Cisco products day in, day out. Now, just by buying the products, you can get something back from that, okay? And we at NetCertExpert, we're really happy to help you out with that, guys. Okay. All right, calendar dates. Some calendar dates to remember, okay? So important dates, number one, the CCIE Voice. The last day to take CCIE Voice written, November the 20th, 2013. The last day to take CCIE Voice Lab, February the 13th, 2014. Okay. CCIE Voice Labs are going to be retired on February the 13th, 2014. Did I say that right? CCIE Voice written, November 20th, 2013, just to emphasize. CCIE Collaboration, the first day of CCIE Collaboration written, November 21st, 2013. The first day to take the CCIE Collaboration Lab, February the 14th, 2014. Okay? Now, The 360 CCIE Collaboration, we talked, it's changing. It's moving from the voice curriculum over to the collaboration curriculum. And this is happening on the week starting November 25th, 2013. Okay. Cisco launching the Cisco 360 Learning Program for CCIE Collaboration to help you prepare for the CCIE Collaboration. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to raise hands or say this, but if any of you out there have thought, you know what, I could be one of the first CCIE collaborations, give yourselves a little smile, because yes, you can. Okay. Remember, everybody, people pass this exam day after day, week after week. What counts is how you prepare and do you do the legwork for this exam. And we want to help you with this and help you prepare for this certification. Okay? A lot of people in Cisco didn't just throw this together. There's a lot of committees, people, and as Mary and Andy said, a lot of people I got a lot of respect for. And Mary said some of them are double or triple CCIEs. I know them. One of them is a quad CCIE. Okay? They've been working with these programs for such a long time, and they know what it takes to. The rubber has met the road, shall we say. They've done it, and they want to help us get it and do it. Okay. So, 25th of November. However, we at NetCertExpert, we are running a brand new beta class. November the 18th to 22nd, 2013. It will be a combination of CIB 1 and Collaboration beta. So if you can't wait till the end of November, come a week earlier, and we'll help you with that. If you don't get a chance to do this, then there's always January. We are running classes in January the 6th to 10th and the 13th to the 17th. These will also be CCIE collaboration workshops to prepare you for the NAME certification. If you have any questions, I don't seem to be able to say this. Please feel free to contact us. Okay. Obviously, I haven't had enough coffee today. I want to emphasize one more thing as well before we finish up. We're out of time, so I'll keep this quite brief. We at NetCertExpert feel that one thing that differentiates us from the competition is our mentoring program. Okay? It may sound a little corny, but I want to say this. We treat our students and our candidates like family. Okay? You don't just come along, sit a class, all right, good luck out there, we hope you pass. We have created a mentoring program that helps you to prepare for this certification. And I can tell you now, I've had students who called me up a couple of days before they go and do the exam. One guy just literally called me up. You know what, Phil? I just want you to remind me how good I am. Am I good enough for this? And I spent an hour talking to him, just going over things that I think he needed to be ready for. I just say, come on, dude, you can do this. You can go and do this. Other people, they call up and we spend time fixing problems on their labs. Or other people, we call up and we run through theory that they're a little bit short of. And there's a lot of people that don't know enough on certain subjects. So we've created what we call our group mentoring workshops. They go from 1 hour to 3 hours on the following subjects. These exist now. Tips and tricks. This is just to kick you off. Doesn't matter whether you're an expert, whether you're an old hand or a complete newbie at doing this. Tips and tricks will give you little hints about how you can make that exam experience better, how you can speed up, how you can not trip over certain things. Then, of course, we have UCME, Call Manager Express, Communication Manager Express. Okay? Quality of service. Gatekeeper and K, which, of course, is only going to have a little bit of life left because Gatekeeper is going, but the K will still be in existence. And voicemail. How to configure voicemail on the UCME. Okay? Some other things we've been asked about that we are developing over the next few months. Presence. UCCX and scripting. And, of course, plus dialing and dial plans. So we want to cover all the things that you may have gaps in knowledge over so we can get you to the place where you need to be to go and nail this exam. Okay. I will pass you over to Paul. My bit's done. We're going to hang around for a little while. Guys, if you've got other time or you guys have to go off, don't worry. You're going to get our email addresses in a little while. Feel free to contact us at the website or email addresses and ask any questions. We are here to help you answer questions and help you get this certification. So I'll hand you back over to Paul. Over to you, please.
Thank you, Phil. Well, that was a lot of information. I'm sure that generated quite a few questions in people's minds. We do have a couple of questions that have come in the meantime. Dennis asked, the Cisco 360 subscription runs for 18 months. Will there be an extension now that the program has been changed?
Mary, could you help us with that one, please?
Sure. We see this as a rolling 18-month subscription. So once you pay for a subscription to any of the components, it is good for 18 months for all content. So it's retroactive to all CCIE Voice content that you've purchased or gotten privileges to, and all the new content. So it's really about that 18-month period and dynamic content. So hopefully that answers the question. We don't partition between voice versus collaboration content.
Excellent. Thank you, Mary. We have another question from John. I've been told there isn't any more seats available to even take the lab for CCIE Voice.
I can chime in a little bit on that one.
We are actually, I don't know if that's a rumor or if that's actually something that Cisco issued to you. I have the full commitment of the CCIE testing team to make capacity seats available until February 13th, the last day to test. If you are actually having a specific problem getting a lab seat, please send the inquiry into Ree or Phil, and they will make sure they get it to me.
Thanks, Mary.
Great. That's great. I'm sure that's going to put a few people's minds at rest. So we have a question from Jeff. The Collaboration Lab exam contains topics such as QoS, video traffic, Jabber for Windows, and Federation. Based on this, should we plan to have telepresence, VCS, and or TMS in our lab?
Phil, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I'd gladly take that one. The simple answer is it's collaboration. So there could be anything in the lab that's to do with collaboration. But our understanding at this time is you need to be able to interface with these technologies, but you don't need to be able to configure them in an actual lab environment, if that makes sense. I'm trying to be not evasive, but evasive if that also makes sense. So will you expect to see a telepresence server that you have to configure? My understanding is no. Will you need to have skills to configure systems to interface with telepresence video servers? My understanding is yes. Mary, do you have any comments on that?
Bill, I stand by everything you just said.
Thank you.
And by the way, I want to, again, welcome everybody. From Cisco's point of view, we believe in the value of skills enablement and performing on the job. My role is not just to get you to pass an exam, but to actually, for lifelong performance, to actually create value to your employers, to yourself. And I am not a CCIE Voice. I'm not a CCIE. But I understand the pride and the sacrifice that goes into attaining one of these valuable certs. So my aspiration is that everybody on this call passes the written exam, and everybody attending this call aspires and takes the lab exam at least once in their life. Even taking the lab exam, regardless of the outcome, itself is a point of pride. So I'm very appreciative of NetCertExpert creating this webinar session format. I just wanted to say that on behalf of Cisco.
Thank you, Mary. I just want to add one comment and say one thing to that. I don't know if anybody noticed, but did you notice whenever I talked about the lab or the written exam, I purposely never used the word fail. Okay? I said if you don't get or if you don't pass, that's because anybody that gets up and attempts this lab has my respect. Because to go and do this lab, these CCIE labs, I think are some of the hardest exams you will ever do. And if you can do them and pass, it shows you have the ability to go and be an expert. So I don't like to ever use the word fail. I like to use the word don't get or don't succeed. But if you get out there and get back up on the horse and try it again, who knows? You may get it on the next time. Now we do have questions, Paul.
Well, that's really it that we had come in on the chat. What I would like to suggest is that if people have some questions that are still in their minds and they would like to get them to either Phil, Andy, Valerie, or Mary, just go to the NetCertExpert website and go to the contact form and send it in as a request. If you just want to get in direct contact with Andy, Valerie, or Mary, just tell us that, and we'll make sure that your email address is passed on to the right person. We kind of really come to the end now. We've filled up our time, so I would just like to thank everyone for attending tonight's session, and I would like to put out a special thank you to our special guests from Cisco, Andy Grimmett, Mary Ng, and Valerie Watson, and a big thank you to our own Phil Morgan. We hope that you've enjoyed what you've heard and that you've learned what you need to help you make the decision to kickstart your career with Cisco certification training, carry on your studies, or just keep up and migrate your existing CCIE certification. So, for further information, please visit our website at www.netcertexpert.com. Send us an email at sales@netcertexpert.com, or for further information, email to info@netcertexpert.com. All that information is currently up on the screen. We'll leave it up for a few minutes so you can make the necessary notes. And on that, I would just like to thank you all and wish you all a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you again for attending.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks, guys and gals.